Kacy Clemens joining us right now on FT Live. Looking good, Kacy. Great to have you on, man. How you doing? And we're excited to continue the partnership here.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all so much for having me on. This is awesome. I've been watching y'all's stuff, and obviously watched the show with Dad on here as well. But yeah, we're excited to extend the partnership with you guys and grow with you guys as the show continues on and continue to do some more giveaways and stuff. So appreciate you guys having me.
Hey, can I ask you a question about, when you were bouncing around from when you were younger to college ball, minor leagues, indie, etc. How prominent is dip still in the game? Not the good stuff, not the non-nicotine, non-tobacco dip that we're obviously promoting. We would never promote the actual garbage that's out there that has ruined many lives. But like for example, the other day, 2 days ago in Cincinnati, Sonny Gray just randomly stops by while we're doing the show, and he's like, "Oh, cool, what's this?" So it was just
Yeah,
interesting to get his take because there's a lot of guys that are either still dipping or around it, and then they pick up something like TeaZa and go, I still want to have that energy and that feeling here, but I don't want to, get
for sure.
get in
For sure.
trouble
Yeah.
with my mouth.
Yeah, to answer your question, it's very prominent. Obviously, as AJ and Kratzy, you guys all know, it's been around the game forever. It's part of the culture. It's just something that gets introduced to athletes and kids sometimes at somewhat of an early age, and sometimes it could be a fit-in kind of thing, or um, either way. However it starts, it's always a bad habit and can get you into some unfortunate health conditions. So I actually was introduced to the product in independent ball my last couple years playing, and I never dipped. I was around the game as a kid. I hated seeing spit cups and dip all in everybody's teeth, and I was against it, ever since I was a kid. But I'm a big coffee drinker, and as you guys know who've been in clubhouses, that clubhouse coffee is more like gasoline. It's like the whole Folgers cup, in the entire thing. So I used to start getting jitters playing baseball and hitting, and I hated feeling that way. And I got introduced to this. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to try it. Why would I try healthy dip when I don't dip? And then we had a rain out, and I had to get a workout in, and I didn't want to drink coffee, so I went to TeaZa to try it for some energy. And the transition of energy was so smooth and so clean that I was like, man, this is a really cool product. And then they were saying, yeah, we know the owner and we're a part of it. And a couple of the players on my team were, going to kind of working for the company or ambassadors for the company. And so I was like, man, I'd love to show this to my dad and kind of see what we could do with it. And, it's been growing like crazy ever since.
You've been following Kody. You've been following Cody's year this year, like actually like in the ballpark, walk
Yeah,
offs, hitting some
absolutely.
dingers.
Oh man, it's been so cool. It's been awesome. I think one of the coolest games was going to Philly for the home opener, and it was kind of a crazy situation. He didn't get the call out of um, out of spring training, and I thought he was deserving of it. But unfortunately, the roster fell the way it did, and then somebody ended up getting hurt, and he got called up for the home opener. And I will say baseball in the Northeast is a little bit different. It seemed like a World Series atmosphere, you know, for the home opener. So it was so cool. It's been awesome to see him out there on some of the fields that we grew up, making memories on, and what an accomplishment it is to make it to the big leagues in general. So proud of him, and just been fun watching him play.
What
Were
was the
you?
dyn? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Scott. I was going to ask him. Did you see him strike out Shohei? I mean,
Yeah, how about that?
that was that not like the greatest
Yeah,
thing ever? I mean, your
I think
dad
the
punched out a bunch of dudes, but I mean, he never punched out Shohei.
I know, I know. I think the coolest part about that whole video is when Cody fist pumps, because it's like they're down by like 12 or something ridiculous, and it's crazy because when he was with Detroit, he had like 10 or 15 innings as a position player. So I jokingly told him when he gets to arbitration, he needs to say that he's got 10 or 15 innings under his belt per year. But no, I thought it was so cool that, he was, even though he was told to go out there and throw 40 miles an hour, just toss it in there, get a strike here or there, try to get some outs, he was still trying to, strategize and make pitches gas him up a little bit, and he finally got him to punch out, and the little fist pump was pretty funny. So that was definitely a cool experience, and I think that locked him into I guess him and my dad have the most strikeouts all time in a father and son duo. So that's a pretty funny stat.
That is awesome. That's like a really
Yeah.
good trivia question too. People would be like, "What?"
Yeah,
But
I think that's hilarious.
it's a great point actually on ARB because we talk to a lot of players who will open up, and we'll get a lot more of that in the wintertime. But for example, the one that drove me nuts in the past year was when Corbin Burns goes to arbitration, and they got shell shocked because they brought a case saying that when he slumped for like 2 weeks of the whole season, that's when the Brewers like lost their playoff chances. It was such like a joke of
Right.
a case, and sometimes the arbitration panel is stupid and they're not paying attention that clearly, so they actually fell for it apparently. But on the other end, that's a great point to bring up. Like, he should
Yeah.
sneak that in there at some
Yeah.
point and be like, I'm actually a two-way player, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
you're eating up innings. Somebody has to do it. And also, you're not trying to be out there for an hour. So it's like, oh, and I struck out Shohei. I love that.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's a funny joke, but at the same time, it's like, look, I'm out here somewhat risking my career throwing 40-mile-an-hour meatballs right down the middle to the best hitters in the world. What happens if, you know, there's a comebacker or I got to make a play? Or not saying that, the chances of that are likely, but you are right. Like, he's out there, you know, pitching in a big league game, whether it's tossing it in there or not. So arbitration as a whole is pretty wild. It's you tell the team how good you are, they tell you how bad you are, and then you shake hands and say, "All right, let's win a World Series."
Yeah, that's crazy. But all right, if he's not comparing arbitration pitching, if you go home at Thanksgiving, who has the rights? Obviously, Pops is the best pitcher. But I was looking at some of your college stats.
Yeah,
They bagged you. They bagged you on the mound. Do you have a little bit more than Kody on the mound? Because you pitched a little bit in college
for
too.
sure, for sure. Yeah. So I kind of have a wild story. I'll kind of run through it quickly, but I was always a pitching prospect coming out of high school. That's kind of how I got into the high school All-American games and was really getting a chance to be drafted out of high school was because of what I was doing on the mound. My mechanics look eerily similar to my dad's, not because I tried to make him that way, but just because I just watched him so much and learned from that. But I ended up tearing my labrum my senior year in the state semifinal game, and that kind of diminished all my chances of getting drafted high. So I ended up still going to Texas, went there as a 2A guy, and my freshman year I could only throw. I could only hit because I couldn't throw. And so got as good as I possibly could at first base, taking ground balls. That was the only place I could have played as a freshman. Ended up getting the starting spot, hit the whole year, didn't play great. So the next year we tried to get me back on the mound. I was fully healthy. And after labrum surgery, it's pretty common that your velocity will vary and sometimes you don't get it all back. So some games I would be like 93, 94, and then some games I would be like 85. It was pretty crazy. So then my junior year came around, and I was like, man, I've got 1 year under my belt on each position. So I decided to just say, you know what, I'm going to hit until they tell me not to, and then if I'll just come out of the bullpen and see if my arm handles up and just see what pans out. And I ended up becoming a way better hitter and first baseman, and my arm just never came back. And so that's how I was drafted. But to answer your question, we have had many competitive battles in the cage off of dad with my oldest brother, Kobe, who was a big power hitter, me, and then Kody as well. And, we beat up on Kody a lot as, he's the youngest one. But, he's the best true hitter out of our family. Kobe and I probably have more power than him, like overall. But power is no good if you can't get the ball in the barrel as much as he does.
Now that you all are grown men, who wins in a wiffle ball game? Because that's all that mattered when you were a kid.
Oh yeah. We don't play as much wiffle ball. I would say golf matches are huge, but my oldest brother has twin boys now, so the wiffle ball and the fun backyard games are definitely coming back. So we'll have to circle back, and I'll let you know what the record is on the future wiffle ball games.
Need it.
Before we get into your dad, what is that? I mean, what is that chain you have around your neck? I mean, that thing is blinding.
Yeah, I actually was given, my parents gave me this a long time ago, and I never wore it because I didn't like wearing gold, and I just put it on one year, and now I've probably worn it for the past 5 years. But yes, I do get a lot of comments on it, especially from some of my teammates. They enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a big one. It looks good though.
Thank
When
you.
we had your dad on, was there any story that he told that you were like, wait, I didn't know that about you, Dad, or is he pretty much open about everything? And then
Yeah.
also when you guys were talking about, we took hacks off Dad, would he throw at y'all? Because he threw at me a few times, and so would he throw at his own kids too?
I know it. He would jokingly, if we took him deep, he would throw one to the back of the backstop and let us know, hey, if you, I, I will say, if you see some of the showboating today, I'm not sure how well he would have handled that back in his day. But no, we've talked about a lot of stories. Obviously, there's so many things that go around nowadays with social media that you're pretty much like, hey, Dad, this just came out. What do you think about this? And he gives us kind of the rundown on some things that are true and some things that are not.
Would you? All right. Well, no. Hold on. Would you watch if him and Mike Piazza fought? Would you go? Would you pay?
I'd probably be in the corner.
Let's go.
Let's do this. Let's go. Talk him into it. Let's go.
No, I know. I mean, obviously, the chances of that actually happening is very slim. But two pretty huge athletes back in their day, and they obviously battled it out many times on the field, and each of them got the best of each other, and that's what the game's all about. But hey, I'm in for raising money for any kind of charities, and you know what, TeaZa and Foul Territory can be the main sponsors, so it'll be a win-win all the way around.
I'm down. We've been talking it up.
I don't know if my dad being 60 years old can get past throwing 5 punches though without needing an oxygen tank.
That's fine.
3 rounds, keep it snappy.
Yep.
3 rounds, keep it snappy. Whatever.
3 rounds. You guys are ambitious.
3 30-second rounds. 3 30-second.
Yeah,
rounds.
exactly. Like pitch clock rounds. All right, so let's do our giveaway announcement here to everyone involved in the TeaZa fam. We appreciate them giving some things away, and Raj, of course. So we put the post up. You can like it, follow TeaZa Energy, Foul Territory Show, and Roger Clemens. You tag 3 friends in the replies, and you'll be automatically entered for a chance to win a set of those 4 dugout mugs signed by Rocket and free TeaZa products all around it. So get after it. That's opening up today. And it was really awesome talking to you. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it. Let us know what we can do on our end to make everything successful for you guys. Love watching you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to keep bringing it on the road. So players who don't know about it do. Use the discount code FOUL, FOUL, for 20% off your first order at TeaZaEnergy.com.